This video will walk you through the steps of paying a company driver in Payroll. To start, we're going to want to click on Process Payroll. If you have a current batch open, a screen would come up and ask you if you would like to continue, but we are going to go ahead and start a new batch, so I'll put the dates in. And I'll hit Start Current Payroll. You're going to see a list of your payroll employees, and you will click on the driver that you want to review. It's going to default to the Trip Selection tab. All of the trips that he has not been paid for yet but have been billed from freight billing will be listed here. Also, if there's any cash advances, those would be in here as well. For this, we're just going to do a single trip. So you can see the trip information here. If I want to get more detailed information, I can double click on it or come down and hit Update Trip Info. By doing that, it's going to pull up the information screen. So at the top I can see he's getting paid per mile 47 cents. Now if that needed to be changed, maybe he got 48 cents a mile, you could easily change that on the screen here. So you can make any updates that you need to. This section where it says deductions or addition when negative would be where you would type in any deductions for this particular trip or any reimbursements. A common one I see would be reimbursing for a lumper. So I would click there, add a new deduction record, yes. And I would click on my drop down till I found what I was looking for, lumper. And we'll say that they paid $12. So if I put negative 12, that's going to reimburse him $12. As you can see over here, it added that $12 onto his $803.52, giving you $815.52. The bottom portion of the screen would be if any cash advances were entered in through the advanced system for this driver, and that would be a separate video on the advanced system. Once you've gone through all your trips, the ones that you would like to pay him for, you would put a check next to. That's marking them to pay. The next tab was the Earnings Deductions tab. If you are paying per trip, you won't utilize this portion of the screen, except if you have standard deductions. In this example, health insurance comes out each time, and those are set up on an employee level, which is also another video on setting up employees. The last tab is going to be taxes / net pay, so you can do a quick view of what your gross and your taxable wages look like. Once you're finished, you would hit done. If you're processing drivers, you'll probably want to print a settlement. So you can go to Print Settlements and hit Match. And it's going to give the driver details about the trips that he took and his tax information. So you'll print that out to give with his check. You can print your checks from here, so I could go to Print Checks, enter my starting check number, and then click on Write Checks. This is just a preview of the check stub. And this is just telling me there's no direct deposit. So once I've printed checks, I've printed settlements, the last step is going to be to post the batch. Before I post the batch, I'm going to want to make sure the payroll date is correct. So if you are processing payroll for a date in the future, you may want to change that to make sure it's at the correct date, because it's going to default to the current date when you open this screen. I'm going to hit Post Batch, and this basically says make sure you printed your checks out, and we're going to go ahead and hit Yes. And it'll ask us for the posting date, which if you need to change that, you will want to change it here, and I'll click OK. And once I do that, this report will pop up, and it's basically a summary of the payroll I just processed, and you will hit Yes to print that. Most people do. And that is what it would take to pay a company driver in payroll.